Hey everybody, welcome to Zotian Epoch episode 12. We are playing D&D in a homebrew setting called Zocheclgoth. The campaign's called Zotian Epoch, and our party has been attempting to resolve some mysteries that they've been experiencing and to deal with a cult that has been harassing the region. We find ourselves in a canopy of a forest. There's what seems to be a small village hidden up in the trees. The party has met some very kind halflings, and they have invited them for a meal and a place to stay out of the danger of the forest below. Party, you have the floor. I can answer any questions or clarifications if you need anything.
We're like going into I'll say their dining room,
I'll describe this.
right?
So the party has one second, need some water. So the party's climbed up a ladder. Leo was damaged by some rocks that were a trap set to protect the you can call it a village, though it's only a few huts up in the trees. When the party stepped up into the platform that was hidden by various branches and another foliage, they discovered an old woman who seemed a bit out of it, but welcomed them anyway. She's quite elderly. And then you met her daughter, who they ultimately invited you over for dinner, which was across a rope bridge from that one platform to the next, that has a common seating area. There's torches lining the wooden walls that protects the area. These platforms are enclosed, and then there's small huts within the platform itself. Within this second chamber, you see pillows made of straw around a fire in the middle of this larger area. Over in the corner is a cutting area for making food. Off to the side, you see what looks like mushrooms growing in boxes, and there's some sort of cultivating tools over there. Above the fire in the middle is a stew brewing at the moment, and you see two young halflings attending the stew. Not children, but like young adults.
Is there a chair that Leo can sit in, preferably in a corner?
There is a bench off to the side of... So to your right, there's some sort of bench there with some padding on it. And further beyond that is where you see the kitchen preparation counter thing. And then beyond that, the mushroom boxes. So. Yes, there's somewhere to sit.
Okay. Leo's gonna go and check out the mushroom boxes.
Okay. You walk over past the cooking prep area. To your left are the pillows on the ground surrounding the fire. The wood kind of creaks as you walk. You're now at the mushroom boxes. Would you like to roll perception or investigation?
Sure.
Cool. Nice.
24? Natural 20?
Right on. That's a good start. The boxes are lined with what seems to be like a pale greenish bluish, like a pastel greenish bluish mushroom. They've been obviously planted in wood bark in basket containers. They're sort of at an angle, and you could say they're about a meter wide, and they're sitting in a wooden rack of various tree branches. The mushrooms are sitting in a cascading style, and yeah, that's what they look like.
Would I assume these are all edible from what I am seeing?
Yeah,
Like
you
the
can see in
varieties
the
of them?
close to your waist height, you can see the side of one is sort of the mushrooms have been harvested, they've been dug out, and to your right on the cooking prep station, you see some being chopped up on a cutting board.
I figured. He's just, looking around at the mushrooms. That's
Right
all
on.
he's doing for right now.
Breeby
Just
walks
checking
over.
out the collection.
Yeah. Breeby, the daughter of the elderly woman that you met, she looks to be in her mid-hundreds, middle-aged. She walks over to the campfire and talks to the two young women that are tending the stew. Looks like she's just kind of indicating to the party and explaining the situation. The two young women nod. Everyone here is a halfling that you see.
So tall people are crouching.
Not necessarily. It looks like it's actually been built to accommodate tall people.
That's polite of them.
Yeah. There's some items that are obviously made for their size, but overall there seems to be an intention to welcome taller people.
I mean, Leo's on the shorter end of taller people, but
Yeah.
of the average size, I guess.
Krasted walks over and sits down in front of the fire, does his best to be cross-legged, and then, kind of frustrated, gives up and sort of sits to the side with his legs out on the ground, just sort of long little chicken legs, and he's looking over at the fire. Guardian, Sebastian, what are you doing?
Not too sure, honestly.
Okay.
Given everything going on, I imagine Guardian's just mining to herself. Maybe like if there's like small things that could be done to help out, probably helping out a little bit. But
Okay.
for the most part, probably just kind of keeping to herself because she doesn't want to get in anyone's way in terms of because I'm not sure. Because is this location like big enough for her to really maneuver in? Because
Yes, definitely. The room is 40 feet in diameter.
Okay. How tall is it?
10 feet.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Okay,
like
so-
an open top, to be honest, but the building itself in the middle, off to the side of it, is the entrance, like the ceiling is a standard 10 feet or so.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
it's open air. But the walls are 10 feet high. That
Okay.
surround you, so
just-
you can only see out into the forest if you open up one of the little windows.
Yeah, I think for the most part, Guardian would probably be making herself kind of like, since they're being guests here and she doesn't wish to be rude, she's probably like helping out with any menial stuff that might be able to, make things a little bit easier now that their host is having to deal with unexpected guests. So like even if it's something simple like, hey, can you go fetch this and stuff like that, Guardian's probably helping with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Elred,
basically just... Yeah.
I was just gonna say, you see a middle-aged man at the cooking station chopping up mushrooms. Rebe walks over from the fire over to you. She introduces you. She says, Elred is... This is my husband, Elred. He's prepping the stew for tonight. He'd be happy to have you lend a hand.
Of course, I'll see what I can do. I'm not as much of a cooker, but if I can assist in any way, I'm more than happy to help.
Well, it's nice to meet you. We're just chopping these up. Some of the potatoes growing down in the forest below. We don't always get those, but we have guests, so we may as well cook what we have. And here's a knife for you. He hands you over a finely crafted knife. It looks... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, we wish not to burden you as much with, if your resources are very scarce, I wish not to cause any more problems than we might have already caused, considering we have shown up unexpectedly out of curiosity more than anything else.
Oh, that's okay. It's been a while since we've had any guests. As far as resources go, we do okay. We have some friends out there in the world. But yeah, I don't mind if you help me out. He slides over some potatoes to you and a knife. The knife is noticeably draconic looking.
Does it have any sort of, like, when you say draconic looking, does it have, like, etchings in it that are written in draconic, or does it have, like, a certain style that reminds Guardian of, like...
It has a style that you've seen Dragonborn use.
Okay. She'll kind of, like, take a gander at the knife, and she'll kind of go, this is a very peculiar looking knife. Did you happen to acquire it from somewhere, or was this something given to you?
Oh, that old thing. We have a long history with, you can call them a sister family, if you will. Well, they're more of a clan. We're a small family, but long ago, my wife's father, he and Melodia were, we met a family across the ocean. They're a group of Dragonborn, and they rescued us from a pirate ship, or rescued my father-in-law and mother from a pirate ship. And that ended up forming a friendship between us, and we trade things. We've developed some delightful mushrooms with them, based on a strain that they have over in their region. Yeah, they're good friends. So sometimes we give them something, sometimes they give us something.
How often do you end up seeing them?
Oh, every few months or so. We have to keep replenishing the spores, otherwise we won't have these mushrooms anymore. They don't reproduce themselves. It's a hybrid of something that we discovered here, and this is why we settled here. But we found that the two, when combined, makes a delightful. Well, if you look around in this room, and Guardian, as you turn your gaze, you see what looks to be small floating orbs, kind of. Some are painted white, some are painted blue, but they're not actually attached to anything. They're just kind of floating there. And he just kind of points at one of them and says, "Our partnership, our friendship, kind of resulted in us creating these fun things." So, yeah.
I see. Tell me, is there by chance, a possibility of that the Dragonborns are coming by anytime soon? I wish to meet them, considering how curious this knife is, and they seem like a very interesting bunch of people.
Yeah. The Dians will we call them the Dians. That was a name that their chief used long ago, but we've just kind of stuck with that name for them. But anyway, they come through every 3 months or so. I think they're due in 3 weeks or something like that. It's been a moment since we've seen them.
I see. I don't keep that in mind in terms of I might have something I wish to ask of them, given the curiosity that there's this knife. Maybe perhaps they can enlighten me on some things.
Very nice people. I'm sure they'd be happy to chat with you. Just tell them the Fernsley sent you.
Frensley.
Fernsley.
Okay.
I'm Elred
Okay.
Fernsley.
It is a pleasure, Guardian.
Nice to meet you.
She'll kind of give him a smile and kind of begin to start cutting up stuff, kind of to help with the dinner.
Okay.
Go chop.
After a while, you've cooked some food, or I'm sorry, you've gathered these ingredients. You go add them to the stew. The two young halflings nod at you and say it should be done fairly soon, maybe another 20 minutes or so. I'm Shine. I'm Shineless. Nice to meet you. I'm
Guardian.
Freebie's daughter.
I see. Well, like I said, I'm Guardian. If there's anything I could do to help out, given that we've stumbled upon your location, just let me know. I wish to help out however I can, given that you're having to care for more people that have shown up. I wish to at least be able to repay the hospitality that you've shown us.
Yeah, no, it's all good. You can just make yourself comfortable at this point. As she's talking with you, the girl next to her just kind of like pokes her with her elbow and like sort of whispers at her and then doesn't say anything.
Does Guardian see anything else that might either be adjacent to the knife in terms of like draconic resemblance at all?
Yes. There is a banner on the wall that has symbols of a sorry, it has draconic symbols on it. It mentions the Deans, and it's almost like it's telling the family story of like how the two met, and that's sort of what the dad was telling you earlier.
Okay.
Sort
So
of like a family history.
it's a retelling, but written in Draconic.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, she will make kind of a note at that. I think she would probably like visibly be looking at it for the most part.
Yeah.
Given that it's caught her eye.
Shineless looks over to the girl next to her and just sort of talks to her in private. You can't hear her. And then the one next to her speaks up and says, "I'm Jovos. Guardian, is it? You seem interested in these draconic things."
It is
Well, more than I would expect for a tiefling.
It is a bit of a curiosity of mine. I have grown and I have a bit of a I have a bit of an interest that involves the apparently it seems Dragonborn seem to have a little bit more knowledge than I do on certain things, and both me and my tribe are rather curious about them.
Yeah, they kind of keep to themselves, to be honest. They actually live in underwater caves. Like the caves aren't drowning in water, but like you have to swim to get to them. They're really good fishermen, actually.
Nice.
But yeah, they live down there, and we just kind of shared some commonality and sort of formed this bond. And I think it's really great. You haven't had one yet, but if you try one of those mushrooms, your voice gets high pitched. It's kind of funny. It might a little in the stew, but we cook it out mostly. Above the
Makes sense.
fire, you see a string holding up what looks like an animal stomach. It's just sort of like held open above the fire.
I see. Well, yeah, my interest in I have a bit of a personal interest given the Dragonborn seem to understand something that my tribe does not, and I wish to learn from them a little bit if I can run across them.
Well, we're very close with them. We can definitely send you their way and put in a good word for you. They're due here soon anyway, but you know, if you want to cross the ocean over to the other, to Burdu, you're welcome to.
We do have other matters to attend to, and unfortunately, I'm sure at some point our paths will cross. I'm sure if time permits, I would like to come back here to see you all again, so that you're not deprived of guests, and if from what I've heard is correct, if the timing is right and what we have to do does not take long, then perhaps we can meet these dragonborn, and I can perhaps ask them what I wish to ask.
Yeah, that would be good. Why not? It's good to make friends, right? That said, do you think you could do a favor for me?
Yes. How can I help exactly?
So, I have this stupid idea. A lot of the Fernsleys don't really agree with me. I'm just Shineless's girlfriend. I don't, I'm not of the family yet. But, anyway, I have this idea for what these things do. Because you see these floating things around. This stomach here is capturing the gas that comes off the stew from these mushrooms. And then when we seal it up, it floats on its own. And my idea is we try and make that bigger. But I don't have the skills to make it or whatever, but basically I just need a giant bag that can hold air or water and maybe something made of rubber. I haven't encountered rubber that much. I don't know how you could get that much, or like, someone that's good at making sails can make a really tight one or something like that. I don't know, but I want to see if I can fill one of those with this stuff.
Have you considered getting perhaps a bigger stomach? She'll kind of chuckle at that.
She kind of goes pale and goes, I couldn't kill a giant. There's no way.
I mean, it was more of a joke, but if I can find something that has a better way of storing something, or if forbid I find a giant that happens to be dead, I will keep that in mind, I guess, in terms of presenting this to you.
That would be so cool. I've always wanted to see if I can, make myself fly on one of those. Just step off the rope bridge over there or something and just keep flying. That'd be so cool.
Flight would be a very interesting thing to...
Yeah, then you wouldn't ever have to walk on the forest floor.
Is the forest floor very dangerous?
Oh, of course. People don't really walk through here often. I mean, you're the first travelers we've seen in at least a month and a half.
Is it just because of the conditions of the weather, or is there things around here that might ward people off?
There's giant snakes and other beasts, and sometimes just some sketchy people. So...
Yeah, I apologize if this comes off very crass or anything. Then, if people do not come out here but to rely on the dragonborn for the mushrooms and whatever, then what is the appeal of staying out here? I wish not to pry or make assumptions.
That's nothing. Yeah, you're good. We have... So, the reason why these mushrooms exist that we're making is because we discovered them here in the forest, high up in the trees. You see, and she kind of points up into the canopy in the high part where the leaves are starting to get more dense. You see a lot of sort of mossy green mushrooms sort of growing out of the side of the trees. Well, we have to mix those with theirs to make the mushrooms that make this gas. So it's silly, but we call it Ferndian gas. It's a mix of our names, the Fernsleys and the Dions. We call it Ferndian. So we have to live here in order to perpetuate this species and create this wonderful thing we've made. So that's why we live here.
I see. I can understand that. If I was just curious given all the things that have been presented, but I can understand it.
Yeah, most people don't bug us. We're pretty high up in the trees. so most don't even see us. But sorry about the trap.
I mean, no need to apologize. You have to defend yourselves. After all, there are many things that might get the smell of the mushrooms if they produce an odor, and or just general curiosity. And you never know if the people coming are going to be as friendly as our group, or if they might decide that your mushrooms are worth trying to take for themselves and forbid your lives might be. I do understand, so I do not fret. I was just more curious, given other than the mushrooms, I don't see a real. And again, I mean no offense to this, it is more, I'm just curious of why here. I'm still getting used to the placement of some places that people choose to live, given that my people tend to try to find stuff that benefits the majority in terms of what might be helpful for us and those around us, so I do have a bit of trouble sometimes finding a reason to stick to one spot, is all. I don't mean to be offensive or anything in that regard, I guess I am trying to understand.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We have family that lives elsewhere and stuff. Some of us just like continuing this old tradition. That's all.
That is fair.
And after all, this is where my grandma and grandpa settled, and, you know, it's their old home. We're kind of here taking care of her. Grandpa recently died. But, yeah, it is dangerous out there. But sometimes we get to trade with people along the way. It's not too bad. It's secluded.
Guardian's kind of like seemingly a bit perplexed, but also she seems like she's trying to like understand. But for the most part, there seems to be like a general perplexion upon her face, but she seems to be trying to understand and probably ask like stuff so that I guess it's easier for her to kind of understand the necessity for really staying in one spot for long enough to have like potentially like generational growth in.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
It does. She sees your confusion and just kind of looks around, sort of gestures to where you are. It's a comfort thing, I guess. A familiarity thing. You know, sometimes it's nice to travel out into the world, and some of us, me and Shineless here, we travel far sometimes, but it's always nice to have a place that's so familiar that it's almost the same as clothes on your back or your hands or feet. It's, I don't know, it's comfort, I guess.
I suppose. I'm still, I suppose I'm still getting used to the idea that people do find comfort in not having to travel to new homes in new locations. I mean no offense to anyone that chooses that, and just more of, what's the term? Getting used to.
Oh, none taken. It's all good. She looks like she's finishing up the stew that's being made. Looks like it's made of carrots, potatoes, those mushrooms you've been seeing, some various greens and stuff. perhaps even some rabbit meat. She carries it out over to the table where the food was being prepped earlier. They put them all into bowls, and they hand them out to everyone sitting around. Leo, Sebastian, how you doing?
Doing fine. I mean, Leo is anyways.
Right on. Anyways, they serve you all the meal. They once that's done, Freebie pipes up. Well, it's been nice to have some guests. If you would like to follow us over to here, across this other bridge, we have the storage room we mentioned. I went over and tried to clear it a bit, but you should be able to put your bedrolls down and sleep in there. It was nice to meet you all. Thank you for being such pleasant company.
Thank you for the hospitality. We promise we should be gone fairly early. We do have to travel after all.
Of course, of course. She leads you out across another bridge, and there's a smaller platform, probably 25 foot in diameter, around another tree. In the center of it is a small hut that has, when you walk into it, various boxes, crates, barrels. Looks like they are fairly self-sufficient. They've cleared out some areas, and you all can lay down your bedrolls and stuff. If anyone has anything else they'd like to do, let me know. We can do a long rest and go the next day.
All good.
Yeah, Leo's fine. Long rest and get through to that splitting headache.
Splitting headache?
Well, yeah, he got bashed on the head, remember?
Oh yeah. Sorry, the tree. Okay. It's long rest. Everybody, feel free to roll a long rest if you need one.
I was about to go. I think the only person that really needs the long rest is the one that took the rocks to the fucking face.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That is true.
One day we're gonna die to dumb shit. I can just feel it in my bones.
I hope not to do that to you. But if it does...
I mean, it would be funny, but also in the same vein, that's just like, oof.
Yeah, I mean, it's always possible.
Yeah, that's how I asked, like, hey, that's why I asked for the damage roll one last time, because I was like, if it rolled high enough, we could have just killed the Guardian, and that would have been interesting treatment.
That would not be good.
It would be funny, but also, but yeah.
Right.
Just like, well, alright. Anyway.
This sounds like medieval intermission music, so I'm just like vibing with it right now.
It's a fucking vibe. Like, it's really hard not to vibe with this one.
I like this one.
Yeah, this is like either you're in a tavern chilling, or like you're wandering through a small town getting ready to start up the next quest vibe. Like that's the vibe I get from it.
Basically.
It's a good vibe, though.
Hell yeah.
Makes this thing up? Okay. Fine, I'll just snip it, it's fine. So I wanted to send to you in DM or in our chat. Just for some visual, these are the basic layouts of that area of the continent. So you're presently on your way to Aronia, which is on the west side of your continent, and then across the Nandrol Channel is Ikrel and Tarbent, and those are on 2 separate continents. So, yeah. I'm not ready to reveal the full map. It has a lot of work to do, but like, it does have like locations and interests and stuff, and this is relevant, so sharing it for you guys.
Bronia is a port town. Ooh.
Yes, and Tarbent is where the Dions live, the Dragonborn. It is a tropical region. Alright, let's go to morning. Oh, it's sick. Good timing. Welcome back, Sky. We just had our little intermission, sleepy times. If you'd like to see the map up there, that's just like the regions we're going to. Or sorry, not going to, sorry. My bad. Those are the regions across the channel. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, carrying on.
I guess in the morning we set out.
Yeah, it's a fresh morning. You all wake up, rested, had a great sleep, all of you. Yeah. Are you free to pack up and head out? Everyone wants to do that.
Yeah. And Sebastian just make sure to thank them for the hospitality on the way out.
Yeah. And they provide welcomes and well wishes and safe travels. Where's the thing I was looking for? Sorry. Need to make a roll.
It's not much, but Leo will have left like 3 gold, just like in their mushroom box before they left.
Okay.
Just kind of like, quote unquote, hidden them there, you know?
Yeah. An appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
They don't notice it right away. It ain't much. But it's all the
They're not supposed to.
Yeah. So you make your way down the ladder. You're now stepping into a deep, thick forest. The river's running. So as you step off the ladder and turn around, the river's. You're watching it flow from your right to your left, right in front of you, probably 10 feet away. Just rushing along. There's a small trail that follows the rocks, goes over some logs and roots, and it keeps heading west. You see ferns, smaller trees within the canopy, but it's probably a good 60 to 80 feet above you. Now that you've been at the Fernsley's place, you can kind of see it in the canopy there, and as you walk, it's easier to spot in the light.
Well, that was interesting, to say the least.
I was quite curious indeed.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I half expected them to, torture us and eat us, but, maybe that's just me being pessimistic.
Well, good thing that was not the case. They were quite friendly. Always nice to meet some friendly strangers along the roads.
Yeah, thankfully, halflings, are generally nice. Well, I guess we can get going.
As you continue along, walking through the forest, it starts to thin out. Been walking all day. As you're walking along and the evening is showing up, the sun is beginning to fade down towards the west, and you spot a herd of deer, like 3 or 4.
Ooh.
It's kind of off in the distance across the river. The river is fairly well. It's not super wide. It's maybe 10 feet wide. But it is rushing fairly fast. And you see the 4 deer across that, maybe another 60 feet away.
You said they were how far?
From where you are standing, they're 60 feet away to your, I guess, 2 o'clock position. So front right.
Hmm.
They're across the river, so you can
Hey,
walk. Go ahead.
Question for you guys. Sebastian,
Mm-hmm.
do you want some deer?
I mean, I have plenty rations left. I'm fine.
True, but I mean, deer, fresh meat.
Sebastian is... What's the word I'm looking for? I mean, he doesn't really care. Either way.
Apathetic?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, I'm going to go hopefully get some fresh meat. Leah's gonna go do some hunting.
Okay. How do you want to
These
approach
deer,
this?
that's from stealth with a sling.
Okay. There's a river to cross. It's about 5 foot away from you, where the trail is. The river itself is 10 foot wide. So you can continue along the bank and try and cross near the deer, or you can try and cross now, further away from the deer.
Further away.
Okay. Would you like to run a perception check? Look for anything that might assist you?
Certainly. Huh.
Sick.
20.
As you're, you notice the deer. You've kind of slowed down your walk. You're sort of crouching along. You see on a boulder a log that has kind of not yet been, it's not sitting in the water, but it's close to it, and it's sort of teetering on a rock at the moment. Angling away from the water at the moment. But it's close. It's a fallen tree.
Can I use said fallen tree to cross?
How would you like to try that? Would you like to just try to manhandle it, use some strength?
More like,
Or perhaps some rope or something like that?
yeah, more rope than anything else, real quick, I guess.
Okay.
Kind of use the rock for leverage.
Mm-hmm. So, why don't you roll me a sleight of hand?
Now, that I can handle.
Right on.
Maybe. 16.
Not bad, not bad. You get up to the end of it that's sort of sitting up in the air. The other end is near the water, almost touching it. You manage to tie your rope around it. It's nice and tight. And you pull this thing around. And as you're swinging it around the rock, you manage to catch it in the water, and it's sort of, the other side sort of, with the momentum, floats over to the other side, and it's jammed into the embankment on both sides. And you now have a little wooden bridge. It's slippery, though.
Cool. Acrobatics to cross it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Fingers crossed. 21.
With your fantastic ranger skills, you deftly dance across the log. Sort of crouching down, running across. If someone was looking far back, they would see just a small little person dart across this log. Small compared to the trees. That's what I mean.
And
You're now across the river.
And stealth?
Yes, please. Right on.
18.
You hop down off the log. Your feet sort of patter into the mossy ground. And you stealthily kind of slink off behind some trees. And you sort of start weaving your way towards the deer. You've gone in between a few trees.
Hood goes up, by the way.
Okay, right on. And you're looking all shadowy. The hood is hiding your face. You're starting to blend into the environment. Your party, as they watch, all of you, as you see Leo, he kind of disappeared. In the trees around him, you think you see him moving along, but you're not sure if it's some sort of bird or butterfly, some random thing that's catching your eye. Leo, you're now 30 feet from the deer. They haven't seen you or heard you.
He's gonna try to get just a little bit closer.
Okay. Feel free to roll another stealth check. Awesome.
19.
Um,
I'm rolling fire tonight.
You are now 10
I'm
feet
gonna
away from the
jinx
deer.
Oh, I wasn't trying to get that close, but sure. Since I'm this close, what's the vibe on the deer?
They're just eating. They're munching along. The head's down, sort of in a half circle. They're just kind of moseying along. The sun rays are kind of coming through the forest and beaming down on them and yourself.
Is there a buck?
No.
Or are they all does?
It looks like a doe, 2 calves, and perhaps a teenage buck. You're not sure.
And you said there was another group of deer nearby?
No, just the 4 that are right in front of you. Unless you'd like to roll perception. But I already gave it away, so I'm sorry. I should have done that.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll roll it anyways.
You're good.
17.
You're pretty sure there's no other deer.
Yeah, then I guess. I'll target the buck, the teenager, I guess.
He is 15 feet away, sadly.
Oh, that's fine. First, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sling bullet him. Well, I'm gonna sling him.
Yeah. Let's go.
I have advantage because stealth, yes?
Sure. Yes. Definitely. Go for it.
19.
Oh yeah. As you're hold on. Your shot is clean. As you quietly crouch down and you pull back your sling, the bullet goes straight through the head of the deer, kind of south of the eyes and towards the back. It's like a clean spinal separation, and the side of the deer just kind of knocks over and the thing slumps down. One shot, it's dead. The others don't even notice for a second, but as soon as the body of it hits the ground, they all spook and run away.
Leo picks up his prey and kind of wraps. He ties a rope to it basically, and he makes a the thing you use to carry stuff, like the makeshift sled.
Sling?
Is that the right word?
Oh, you just want to drag it behind you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Without doing too much damage to it. It's the
Yeah, I know what you mean.
it's like a gurney, but not. Is it called a sling? Like a big sling? You know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea, but I can see it. I can visualize it. You're all good. So you managed to do that with the rope. The deer is protected from the ground as you drag it along. Do you head back towards the bridge? Do you continue up the river across from where your party is?
Head up the river or towards the party.
Okay. So you make your way back to the bridge. You're not going to try and cross this bridge. It was kind of slippery when you went across. Please run me another athletics check.
Athletics
don't
or
want to?
acrobatics?
Or,
I mean...
acrobatics.
What?
Awesome.
15.
It's a bit of a struggle. You are trying to get this deer across this bridge, but you manage to take it a little slower this time, and your foot, it's not sliding off the mossy tree in the water, but it's a bit of a struggle. But you make it across. You have your deer with you on the other side. And the party is waiting for you.
Cool. He catches up, just like, back. Sorry, took me a minute. He is carrying back like a mid-sized buck.
Yeah, it's heavy. You're
Looks like you
dragging
got
it.
looks like you got a fairly nice catch there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Very nice.
Party, do you continue on along the river? Into the sunset? Or do you start looking for camp? What are your thoughts?
We should continue on till nightfall, I think. Well, not nightfall, but just before, and then like find a camp.
Works for me.
If we got, a couple more hours of travel time, we should, take it. We're on day 3 of traveling, right?
Yes, you're on day 3. It takes 4. So, yep. As you're continuing through the forest, it starts to thin out even more. The sun is low in the sky. You're going at a slower pace. Leo is dragging a almost full-size deer with him. And the forest begins swaying. The trees start getting shorter, a little thinner. And you're stepping into grasslands. The sun is almost set. It's just a sliver over the mountains in the distance. The mountains almost look yellow. It's hard to tell. But as you step out into the grasslands, it's getting very dark. You're in some sort of plain. The river kind of veers off from the road, probably a good 20-30 feet. It looks like the ground is more firm where the track is. Would you like to make camp?
I think that would be a good idea. There are still trees nearby, yes?
Yes, but much thinner.
Okay.
You can see the sky a lot. You can see the clouds up in the sky. It's starting to get to a more dry area. There's no more moss, there's no more ferns. It's just sort of like a grassland with oaky trees, shorter trees, some willows here and there.
If you guys want to set up camp, I'll go and take care of this. And he gestures to his deer. It'll be better to do it further away from the campsite. That's what I'm mentioning it now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we would want that smell lingering here.
Among other things.
Right.
Leo's wherever they set up camp, Leo's a good 70-80 feet away.
Okay.
Far enough away to where the campsite and the deer don't get aren't close, super close, but far enough or still close enough to where they can hear him if he goes, problem.
Exactly, and you can
You
see
know?
the campfire that they're starting to make at the moment, setting up their tents. Do you find like a rock
Yeah.
or something to put the deer on to do this? Or
He hangs it from a tree.
okay. Go over and find a nice sturdy tree limb on a large oak. Kind of swing that,
Mm-hmm.
put it up in the air.
You know,
and-
flip
yeah.
it upside down, hang it from a tree.
Looks like you've done this before.
Mm-hmm. Not in real life.
But
I've
Leo's,
just seen it done.
yeah, but
I've
Leo's
seen
very
it done in real life.
nice.
Yeah, Leo's very adept at this sort of thing.
Definitely.
Even with one hand.
Exactly. Rest of the party. Making campfires, all that good shit.
Sure.
You see Leo off in
Yeah.
the distance doing some deer slaughtering, skinning, cutting things into chunks. It's pretty warm out. It's much warmer than you felt in a long time. It's no longer 30. It's not even 50. It's like a good 60, almost 70 degrees out. The night has a nice, gentle breeze to it. To roll some things. Yep. Let's- As Leo's busy with the deer out there, across the other side, in the opposite direction, up the trail, you see deer crossing in the distance as the light begins to fade.
Leo doesn't see this,
Nope,
I assume.
you are too busy and you're facing the other way.
Thought so.
Get some good rolls tonight, gotta say. Alright, some time has passed. Leo's done his deed. Do you bring it over to the camp? Maybe start cooking or something like that?
100%. He brings it over. He pulls out, some kind of scrap looking cooking stuff and starts, grilling up some deer steaks.
Sweet. Making
And
food for everybody.
he rolls out the deer hide so that it can dry out. That's
Yeah.
the only thing that's that he kind of kept from the thing was the hide.
For sure.
know?
Aside from the meat, right?
Yeah, aside from the meat, and everything else was guts, and the undesirable bits are they're buried in a small hole.
Yeah. So you did end up getting 40 pounds of meat from that. And a deer
holy
hide.
shit.
Yeah. You'd like to add that to your inventory.
Gonna have to cook all this meat up real quick though.
Maybe you cooked like 10 tonight? Just kind of feasting everybody?
Mhm.
So maybe add 30?
All right.
30 pounds of meat, unless you want to cook less. I'm just saying because you said you wanted to not do a whole bunch. Just a suggestion, sorry.
Yeah, no, we'll have a real big feast tonight, and if I can preserve some the 30, that'll be fine.
For sure. Yeah, you have some things that help you preserve it. You're carrying some salt in your kit, and managed to wrap it up. and the hide is just drying out right now. Everybody's eating good tonight with full bellies. The night begins to end, unless anybody would like to have any conversation.
Nope.
Okay. The night passes. Everybody goes to sleep comfortable and full. You're out on into this new warm area. Not having to shiver so much at night. Is anybody watching? Sorry, I forgot to ask. We're doing a watch thing.
I had assumed we were doing watches.
Yeah.
Cool.
Don't watch this, let's be sure.
Yeah. So I can speed it up if you want, unless you want to like go through the steps or.
I want to RP every second. I'm kidding. No. it's
Sorry.
fine. No, you're good. I'm teasing.
I mean, I just want there to be options if you want.
It's all good.
Alright, morning comes. You wake up to the sun in your faces. You're under some large oak trees. There's other things like willows and the sort of pine and tall canopied trees that you've been walking through. Looks like you're on the edge of the thick of it. The thick of the forest. Out beyond in the distance, you can see from the direction you've been walking, just eastward, the sun is rising. And into the distance, the hills that you saw last night are indeed gold. They look like sand dunes out in the distance. Miles away. But it's pretty flat where you are, so you can see quite far.
Well, guess we made it this far.
Indeed.
Okay. So then, I guess everybody packs up camp and stuff and starts walking on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We should reach Aronia by today or tomorrow sometime.
It's most likely in your evening.
Should we talk about I guess a plan of approach upon the city?
I mean, it would not have to. We would need to figure out, ideally, how to go about this with the less amount of attention, I suppose.
I mean, that would be preferred starting off. The less we attract attention to ourselves in the beginning, the better.
Especially
until-
as little attention as possible to Crasted, if any at all.
Yes. So we're still gonna stick with the Karasted kind of stays quiet as much as possible, and you're his, and Leo air quotes, owner, you know. That way Karasted is, not looked at too much because he will be your property. Not saying that you are our property, Karasted. I just want to clarify. We aren't saying that you are our property. We will just, we're trying to cover a basis. You
you're all
have
good.
your own will.
Don't worry, you're fine.
Okay, I just want to make sure to, tell you, we're all friends here, and don't think that we're just gonna think less of you or anything like that. We're just trying to, not cause problems.
For sure. Yeah, no, I get it.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate you being as understanding in this whole situation.
Of course.
Leo's never been to Aronia, has he?
No.
Okay. I keep forgetting if he has or not.
That's okay.
Do either of you guys know anything about Aronia? Or should we just talk to the guards at the gate when we show up, say, "Hey, we're looking for a place to crash."
I don't know much about it outside of research I did on it, just regarding it being a port city.
DM with the Carnova have anything to do with the port city at all, or no?
The Carnova?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sometimes they trade in there.
Okay. So, would it be reasonable to assume Guardian knows a little bit, obviously not like an obsessive, but like a baseline?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
She'll kind of relay that and go, I mean, I know my people usually do some dealings here, but I'm not as familiar with the place. I didn't get, I didn't really exactly get taught too much in terms of what sort of dealings entail, but somewhat familiar with the place a little bit.
You do know that the Fens is the city that is in the southern part of Aronia. It's in the Azurpine Desert, which is the desert you're walking towards.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she would relay what she knows to the party, just kind of a general like, hey, this is what my people would know.
For sure. So for everyone, basically, you know that there's a town called Stormfield, which is in the northern part, which is in a more wooded area outside of the Azurpine Desert. And the trail you're on leads to the Fens, through the Chalk Bowl Trail. And, yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
imagine we
those are
won't
the
have
two
much
main
trouble
forts.
getting in.
Crasted does have he believes that he's from Stormfield.
So, I mean, instead of headed to Aronia, should we just head straight to Stormfield? Or, like, is it
The
like.
way the geography is the road goes through the fens and then up along the coast to Stormfield. Unless you want to go around the wall of the fens as well, which is totally an option. Like you can just cross the desert to the north into the other forest if you prefer.
Hmm.
But
Well, I
basically,
mean,
your walk will take you across the desert. Yeah. Sorry, Sky, you were saying something?
I was saying I don't see. Not sure we have really have any need to go into the fens, so I suppose we just go straight for Stormfield. Do we not?
I mean, that's our ultimate destination for Crasted, as far as I'm aware. So, I mean, headed there, like, we can head to Aronia, like, now, see if there's any intel to gather, and then, like, I don't know, or, like, I don't know.
Well, is it the feds in Stormfield inside Aronia? Isn't that how the geography works?
Yeah, Aronia is like the
Am I
region.
misunderstanding this?
It's the coastal region. Sorry, it's not a town. Sorry.
That's where I was misunderstanding. The region is Aronia.
Yeah.
The town we're aiming for is Stormfield. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm sorry.
Totally fine. My brain cells aren't working much tonight either.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess, you know, we might as well just head straight there. I mean, if we want to, we can avoid the whole desert, and it might take us a little longer, but I don't know.
The desert's pretty large. You're like near the front of the entrance of the desert. Basically, you see dunes in your face. So like you can go, I guess, northward and try and hit the other forest and just follow along like the edge of the desert and the forest if you'd like. That will take longer though.
What's the quickest way to get to our destination?
Straight across the desert, like in a northwest diagonal pattern.
Okay. And that'll take us how long to
2 days to Aronia. I mean, sorry, to Stormfield. See, it's messing me up too.
I mean, we certainly have enough supplies for the trip, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It's hot, but you know, different environment.
We can always just travel at night if we need to.
Suppose you could.
I mean, that's if we want to, like, avoid the heat and all, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there might be different creatures at night versus daytime.
This is also true. Would you guys just like to? Would y'all just like to, you know, hitch in the giddy up and head straight across, or take a safer path? I guess.
Well, I am all for efficiency.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the party is going straight across the desert. Yes?
To the desert.
All right.
Okay.
So
Question: do we want to try the night travel, or do we want to do like day travel? Checking with everybody beforehand. Do we want to try like stick to the night, or do we want to like stay?
we can always make this decision in the next session if you'd like.
Well, if there's one thing I know about deserts, is they're made of sand, and sand is very hot.
That is a
And
fair point.
and sand is very hot when sun out. So if no sun equals no hot sand, but sand is cold when no sun is hot, then
So
Oh my
night
God.
travel then.
so the question
We
is,
can-
do we want to deal with hot sand or do we want to deal with cold sand?
Do you want cooked tootsies or do you want not cooked tootsies? Is the question.
I
I'm a tiefling. My body temperature is already probably internally higher than most people, so a little bit of
Probably,
sun
yeah.
ain't gonna hurt.
Yeah.
A little bit of sun is not going to hurt me. I'm concerned about the two small children in the group in terms of I don't want them to get sunburnt in desert.
Yes.
considering that one of them is covered in furs.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that is asking for heat stroke.
Right. And it gets cold in the desert at night, so the furs would actually work pretty nicely in the.
The furs would work until the sun decides to peer over the horizon and be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
That's why we have the tents to rest in during the day.
But tents aren't always going to help against the blazing sun, especially if it decides to get a little muggy.
Well,
'Cause
maybe if
desert
you like,
ain't
that's
much.
true.
if you put them into like a canopy form instead of like into a triangle, they're just like a sheet above you and giving you shade at least.
True,
You could do that.
Mm-hmm.
true.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
So
I have
really-
camped in the desert in a tent, and
Um,
it's many times, and it's often a sweltering experience.
Yes, it is
My-
often miserable as hell.
Yeah.
My question is there anyone that we could potentially either hire or have assistance crossing the desert with in terms of like either simply getting like a pack animal like a camel to
Yeah.
help us traverse the desert would probably be the ideal situation if we choose to traverse the desert.
You could probably get
We
that
will
at the
have
fens,
to pick
but
one up.
it's very deserted where you are. There's not like a town in the region that you're in.
Fuck.
That's why people take the long route usually more because there's more towns.
I mean, how many days is it to? How long is it going to take us across the desert? Theoretically, if we don't get lost or heat stroke taking one of us. Like I know you're not.
If everything goes great, 2 days directly over to Stormfield, but 3 days if you go to the fens and then head north. But the fens may have supplies that would be useful to you because it's a port
So
town.
an extra day to get supplies and stuff.
And yes,
I
people
mean-
do use camels in this desert.
Snow camels.
There be both, friend.
Hell yeah. I guess Guardian's opinion would be if we feel like we can cross it without someone dying of heat stroke, that would be ideal.
Yeah,
But
there's a
if we
river
want
near you at the moment. It might be might be good to like think about water or something like that.
That would be the big thing, is stocking up on water,
'Cause-
especially in the desert.
The route to the fens is easier because it follows the river. If you're going across the desert, like in the direction to Stormfield, then there's no river. So, yeah.
So, I mean, we can head to the fens, pick up some supplies and probably an animal. And then, that'll we can probably shave off a day if we pick everything up and then cut across straight to Stormfeld.
Yeah, I've been
I
thinking
mean,
in walking speed, a mount would speed it up double. So like it's actually 2 days if you get a mount in the fens.
I was about to go, hell, stock up on water now while we have the opportunity to get a mount. Have the mount carry the water that we stock up on. That way, not only are we staying hydrated, but also our potential camel friend is also hydrated. Even though camels can hold a lot of water, I still want the little homie to have water.
Yeah,
We still have to take the day to get to the fens.
but
I
that's
mean,
we don't-
alongside the water, so like you can get water the entire time. Like
Yeah.
you could be drunk on water.
Yeah. Stay hydrated, get water, and we get to go to a new place because who doesn't like visiting new towns?
Okay, then the path to the fens it is.
To the fins.
On that note,
We
To the
follow the path.
it seems like everybody's feeling, or at least one of us, or whatever. I want to accommodate, if everybody wants to do a shorter session, we totally can. Especially because we're missing 3 players actually. So
Admittedly, I'm kind of on the fence about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
we
my
can-
God.
We can.
I see what you did
puns.
there.
Oh my God.
It took you a second.
Damn it.
God damn it.
I was waiting for you to catch that.
Motherfucker.
Exasperated sigh.
Yeah. Jeez.
I love wordplay, so you present something that sounds like a word, I will find a way to turn it.
No, it's inspiring. It's awesome. It's good stuff.
It is.
It is the only
Uh,
it is the only way that my brain functions.
All good.
Jimmy, you might want to check the chat.
Oh, I see it. Sorry, folks, if we were watching. We're kind of like deciding where we're at. I don't want to push people to things like if energy's not there or whatever. You can consider this a break, if you will. In fact, we will. Well, how about this? We take a break for the people watching, and then we can discuss in private. So see you in like 5-10 minutes. We may continue, we may end the session. Regardless, thank you for watching our game. It's been great. Yeah, much appreciated. Alright, everyone, so the consensus is it's just not happening for the rest of the evening. Energies are low. I spent some time in the hospital yesterday, so there's like, scheduling stuff that has to accommodate. We're good. We're just gonna have to pause for tonight. The party has decided to continue along the river on the way to the Fens, which is a coastal town, a commonly used port, that sort of thing. They'll be fine. They'll have lots of water on their trek. It will be hot, but it sounds like they want to travel along at night. There's lots of sun. There's lots of reflective light in the desert at night, so it sounds like it's going to be a pretty chill walk. We'll meet you in 2 weeks at 6 PM PST. Thank you for watching Zotian Epoch. Much love, and take care of yourselves.